Good afternoon, Helena.
Hi, afternoon.
How are you?
I'm all good, thank you. All's well. Are
Are
you
you
good
in
your
Vienna?
end?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Are you in Vienna at the moment?
Uh, I am, yes. Yeah,
Okay,
no.
that's fine. Um, well, it's lovely that you are here, and I saw on Instagram your single that you recorded and filmed.
Yeah, so I've got single number 5, Trying. So that's just been released a few days ago.
Mm,
I've been on this journey releasing my album bit by bit since January.
mm.
And yeah, this is number 5 from the collection that I've started from
Oh, that's
January.
yeah, that's wonderful. And what is the album called?
It's called Funkalicious.
Funkalicious. That's an interesting name. How did you come up with that name?
I've always been a funk and soul lady from a young age. Like I've sung a lot of different styles over the years, and when I thought towards my original project,
Mm.
I knew I wanted to go on the funk side of things. It's a funk pop album, and it's got a lot of disco, electronic, soul influences throughout it. And it just happened very naturally, the Funkalicious. Just
Really?
kind of came out of it.
Well, then, now that you say disco, I mean, disco was the time when I was a teenager. It was the disco era, and you sort of associated with the 80s, or late 70s, 80s, start 80s. What made you interested in the disco type of music?
I discovered Jamiroquai. I know they're more of a modern sort of take on the disco side of things, but I did discover them when I was about 12 years old, and I know that they have a lot of like jazz fusion in there as well, because I'm a big jazz fan too. Jazz funk, they go into the 70s
Mm.
disco side of things as well, which is what I really enjoyed. And then from that, it was a Funk Odyssey album that they brought out in 2012. And that then brought me back to kind of find out about lots of different musical styles. And that was when I discovered Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah.
also, which I absolutely love, they're amazing. Went back in time, like to the James Brown sort of era, which again is like that funk and soul vibe. Average White Band as well, who I absolutely love, and I actually work with the 70s. It's a band in London that were
Oh.
originally around in the 70s, and they were called Kokomo,
Mm.
which I've come, yeah, in my later stages of life, I've actually been doing that sort of soul 70s with them. I'm part of their reunion band. And I've just always been intrigued about going back in time and enjoying the music from the past. And I very much love that era,
Yeah.
like kind of the 70s, 80s, going through into
Yeah.
90s. Yeah.
I think it's amazing that you do that because I think they are, if we even I was a teenager in the years of the disco music, but sometimes I listen to the music and I think listen to the lyrics and I think, at that time you didn't really listen to the lyrics as much, or you interpret it in a different way. But I think there are very great songs, very great music from that time, and forgetting about the hair and the clothing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I kind of feel like, wow, what it would have been like to have lived in that musical era. Like I know,
Yeah.
like 70s had. I hear, socially it was a difficult time to live in the 70s, but in regards to music and the generation of that discovery of that amazing music like Chic, the Prince vibe.
Mm.
I love it. I really do love it. So that's where my inspiration has come from, and then I've also taken a lot of like modern influences as well into the
Mm.
album. So I really wanted it to be. It's got an electronic programming side to it, but it's very much a live band project. Kind of
Mm.
describe it as like a hybrid album, really. There has to be, for me, I knew I wanted to have that live feel to it. And there's 19 musicians on the whole album
Oh,
altogether. So
wow.
yeah, it's a
Mm.
collaboration between it's Austrian musicians and UK guys as well.
So, what brings you to Austria? What's the connection?
So I work with a bass player, Austrian bass player in London.
Mm.
So I'm British born. I first started off my career in Wales, in Cardiff, and then I knew I wanted to move to the Big Smoke. I wanted to go to London and expand my singing career out there. And I moved in 2016, and then I shortly met an amazing guy called Stefan Redenbacher,
Mm.
who's originally from Salzburg. I spent a lot of time touring the world and trained at Berkeley as well in the United States, which is an incredible music jazz school. And then he settled in London. And then I met him quite shortly after I moved to London, and he's got a jazz funk project called Redenbacher's Funkastra. And that's kind of where things started, really. I would join them at this awesome club called the 606 Jazz Club in London, which is really well renowned, really well respected for the jazz scene. And then we wrote an album together, so we got a collaboration album, which is like funkified versions, like songs you would never expect to be done in a jazz funk way. Like there's Ed Sheeran Shape of You on the album, Guns
Oh,
N' Roses Sweet Child of Mine, got Britney Spears Toxic. Yeah, you can kind of see where where my sort of
wow.
modern kind of song choices came from, but then also it was really great to kind of work with him on it and pick songs that you wouldn't usually expect to be in a jazz funk way.
Yeah.
And then we made that album together, and then he was like, "Hey, how about you come over and do some shows in Austria?" And there's this really great club in Vienna called the Albertina Passage. It used to
Mm.
be called, which is in the first district. And I used to come over and do a residency there on a Friday and a Saturday night with a live band, entertaining. So I'd fly on a Friday, do a Friday, Saturday night, and then fly back on Sunday. And I'd do that every other month. And I did that
Mm.
for about a year and a half. So I was able to come over and meet lots of amazing musicians and get involved in the Vienna scene. And then that's very much where it all started. So I've been coming over to Austria about 2.5 years now,
Oh, I
maybe
see.
coming up to 3. Yeah.
And was it easy to come in to get into this music scene here?
I found it so, yeah, to be very exciting and super easy, I guess, because I'd met a few people um, like while I was gigging like out here, and then further connections start from there.
Mm.
It's always definitely in the music industry, it's about like word of mouth and like, you know, being recommended by other people, meeting amazing people on the scene as well. So I felt like I was super lucky in that sense, because a lot of work has come out of there from me for me. I think also being a native English speaker as well, I think that has helped me
Oh,
potentially, because
yeah.
yeah, because I think people really they really love that funk and soul vibe, and the fact that yeah, that I speak the
Yeah.
language
And,
first. It's my first
yeah,
language.
and compared to the UK, is it
Hmm.
also easy? Was it easy for you to get into the music scene there?
Yeah, like I'm 13 years now into the music industry. So I started when I was 19. And yeah, like the first few years, I think whenever you start a career
Mm.
in whatever industry you decide to work in, you've got to put that hard work
Yeah.
in at first to gain momentum with it. But yeah, I found, because I've always been someone who jumps in the deep end and just gets involved and is really driven in that sort of sense. But yeah, of course, there's been a lot of hard work within it.
Mm.
And the years of investment are definitely paying off now. But I think it definitely takes you a couple of years to get up and running. But if you are nice in this industry, I'll definitely vouch for that. If you're really nice, you get on well with people. If you're super professional, if you do your job as you meant to, then great things will come out of it. So I've been super lucky. I'm very
Um,
thankful.
oh, that's great. But you know, the perception sometimes is that the music industry is so limited, really, or for people. You know, we look at big record companies offering huge, you know, contracts to singers and so on, but there are a lot of people and a lot of artists that do their own thing. You know, they get the record, the recordings done, and they get the music videos done themselves, and they market themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so authentic, really. You know, do you like to have this control to what you're doing and not be
Yeah.
handed over to people who do this whole image thing?
Yeah, I've really loved making this record as an independent artist. Like I am working with an independent label here in Vienna, which they've actually co-written it. So it's my partner. So my partner Fabian Vollner, he has a
Mm.
studio here in Vienna called Sheep Hill Studios, and he co-wrote the album with me. I also co-wrote it with another gentleman called Johnny Sommerer, who lives in Linz. And it was all done in house. It's here
Mm.
in Austria, was made. Like
Oh, I
I
love
have
it. Yeah.
which I really loved, being able to
Mm.
have that full control of like independent releasing. And then also through the studio, Fabian and his co-owner of the record label, Ahmed, they both work together, and I work with them, and we've released the singles, and we'll be releasing the album independently. And it's all done like in house in Austria, and it's been really great to have that creative control, and also to have this. We're a very small unit, a small team, but they really believe in the vision and the sound of where I wanted to go from the outset, and the musicians that I have on the album, they totally believed in it as well. Because that's
Mm.
also quite a scary thing, like independent releasing and creating music. You really, it means a lot to you, and you want to get it right, and you want people to feel the passion and to be on board. But everybody I asked was really into it and really wanted to be part of this record, and also to have so much creative control, like visually as well. So I worked with a photographer and an artwork designer as well, who did a great job on the artwork for me. There's a videographer in England as well, that I film most of the music videos with. And then this last one, so the new single Trying, Fabian has actually taken producing and directing for this one,
Really?
because he really
Oh,
wanted to do it. Yeah.
yeah.
So
But it's
of
amazing,
course
yeah.
I couldn't have this record without people. So
Mm. I find this
yeah.
really amazing because I think it's the control is not control in a negative way, but it's
Mm.
like it's your artistic control really over what is happening, and and it's so authentic if you do it yourself and you market it this way, you know. I do find it very,
Completely.
yeah, I do find it very sort of, yeah, real, you know. It's, this is
Yeah.
real music then.
Yeah, for
Mm.
sure. This is my funk baby that I've wanted to create for a
Yeah.
long time, and I wanted to make sure that it was done at the right place at the right time, and it's very much come very organically.
Yeah.
Of course, like since I was 12 until now
Mm.
at 32, I had to wait a little time,
Yeah.
but when it started to be created, it was the right place, right time. And we wrote it actually from start to finish in just under a year, which if you think about it is for 11 songs and actually produce a record and master it. Like we did it in quite a short space of time. But I came over here, we were already maybe about 3-4 songs into the album when I came over in March 2020. And that was literally just before the lockdown.
Yeah.
We heard on the grapevine that borders were going to be closing. So I was like, okay, I planned to come over here anyway to do some writing. I thought I'd only be here for like 6 weeks maybe, but it turned into 6 months because of the lockdown.
Oh.
But during that time, we spent those 6 months finishing off the album. So it was a very productive time for me and everybody that I was working with. So yeah, we spent practically every day in the studio writing it, and then finished it by the summer.
I'm fascinated by these things that come from lockdown, because I think this was without distractions, artists could really do the things that they wanted to do, and I hear this from composers as well. Many composers say that it was a good time for them because they could, there was no distractions and they could just use the time. So isn't that wonderful that you will always think of this album as in this during that time?
Yeah, completely. There's a lot of great progress that I think has been made. I've spoken to several musician friends of mine that have found that time, despite the hindrance of it as well, like in a work type of sense, in like earning money as a musician, but for them it also been a very progressive time for them behind the scenes. Like I've had friends that have finished off their studio projects that they've wanted to do for years but never been able to finish to get like the studio done, or they really wanted to do their own projects, and then they found the time to do that. And there's also been a lot of remote recording as well, so a lot of guys are there in their studios getting involved in different people's projects. So there has been a lot of great stuff that has come out of an extremely unfortunate, and stressful situation for a lot of people. For all of us, it's affected everyone. But yeah, it's good to look at the positives with it as well, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they were, as I said, I'm not disregarding that they were difficult times, but I do think, we will definitely see very positive things coming out, especially from artists that you hear about, or that maybe in years when we look back, then these things will definitely stand out from this time, from this period. So now you said, so you're releasing these singles now, and this is how you then market the whole album.
Yeah, so out of the 11 tracks, we picked 5. Originally, it was just going to be 3 singles, but I love each and every song very dearly, and they all could be singles, but it's like we need to select a few to really give that introduction into the album. So yeah, I released an extra 2. So the first 3 was Diamond 101 in January, and then in March I released Funkalicious, which is the title track of the album. And then it was April, I released a song called Struggle, which very much is relatable to struggling through the lockdown.
Really?
For some people. Yes. But with a positive twist on it, you can keep going, you can do this. And then in May I released a song called Sometimes, so that's the extra, the 4th single. And then literally on the 15th, that's gone quick, 15th of July, I released Trying, number 5. So it's been great to release them and give a little taster of what the album's going to be like. It's that electronic funk pop. It has disco influences within it, soul. There's a bit of like gospel in there too.
Oh,
And yeah, like there's an end part in single number 3, Struggle, which
mm,
has this choral part at the end, which has a
mm.
very gospel uplifting sound that I wanted to have. And it's actually the last track on the album. So it finishes a cappella with the voices, with the harmonies.
Oh,
Um,
that's wonderful.
so
Yeah.
it kind of finishes off with the voices.
So where do you market? Do you market worldwide, or are you just now doing things in Austria at the moment?
Yeah, and the whole album and the singles have all been released internationally, so they're
Yeah.
available worldwide to stream on your preferred platform. So if someone's a
Yeah.
Spotify listener, if someone's Tidal, iTunes, etc., etc. You can even find it on Shazam as well. I know some people have
Really?
that. You know, when they're out and about, there's music. Then there's music playing. You can actually Shazam it, and it will pick up the songs.
Oh, okay.
Which I actually saw for real actually the other day, the first time someone Shazammed
Oh,
one of my
really?
songs, and I was like, "That's my song."
Oh, that's great.
So the digitally
Yeah.
the singles are available worldwide,
Mm.
and and also the album will be worldwide available. And then I just got back my designs for the whole album, so there's going to be an album printed on CD physically.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
Yeah.
know that some people are still listening on CD. It's
Yeah.
still, you know, I think people like to have physical, you know,
Mm.
something that's really physical that they can enjoy. And then also we're going to do vinyl as well, so a limited edition
That would,
vinyl.
but that would be so fitting for what you did, you know, for your,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yes, that would
So
be great.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes.
The designs look amazing. People haven't
Mm.
seen what it looks like yet, but I will be revealing it super soon. And
Oh,
then
okay.
we'll do a pre-release, basically, well, like a pre-buy.
Mm.
So as soon as the vinyls and the CDs are physically with us in Vienna, then we'll be sending them out to people
Oh, okay.
that wanna pre-buy it, and I'll sign them as well physically.
Oh, that's great.
Um, so yeah, like that's the plan for them, sort of like digitally and physically. And I'm
Yeah.
also planning a live release gig as well, which I'd really like to have in Vienna in autumn.
Yeah, this was what I was going to ask you now. When can we see you live singing all
I,
these wonderful songs?
Yeah, I actually do have before the live album release, I have a gig at Loop in
Yeah.
Wien, and that's on the 4th of August. So it's
Okay.
only in a couple of weeks' time, and it's going to be an acoustic, like stripped down version of the song. So we're going to have piano me with bass, and then
Mm.
also I'm hoping that we can, if we're allowed, to have as well, because it's supposed to be a chill down setting. We're going to have some drums in there as
Oh, I
well.
see. Yeah.
So yeah, we got Sasha Perez on keys joining, Johannes Neunteufel on bass, and also Seppi Hinterhusel on
Mm.
drums.
Oh,
But I'm
great.
waiting for the approval. If Seppi can
Oh, for the
join, that
drum.
would be
Oh, okay.
amazing. But it's supposed to be an acoustic strip down affair. But the 4th of August, so it's on a Wednesday. It's a showcase night, and it's with Heike Bikini as well, I believe. I've said that right with
Oh,
that
okay.
act as
Oh,
well.
okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, but this is amazing. But I think they should allow the drums. It should be.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, I'm waiting. It should be absolutely fine. But it's going to be the first time performing these songs
Oh, wonderful.
live to an audience as well. So it's the first time I'm showcasing these songs.
Oh,
So
this is exciting. Yeah.
yeah, so it's going to be really great. Should have
Yeah.
a good amount of friends coming along and supporting. So if you're available,
Oh, that would be
come on
lovely.
down.
Yeah, that would be great. Oh, I would love to hear,
Um,
um, what it sounds like. And I love live performances, definitely. Yeah.
you know, we had the first rehearsal yesterday with Sasha on keys, and it's so nice to hear it done that way,
Yeah.
and acoustically in the room as well, because I've done two videos just with Johnny on guitar and me singing in the studio before. They are available on YouTube. And that's really nice because they were written specifically with the guitar in mind,
Oh, I see.
with the guitar riffs, because they're very much driven, like Diamond 101 and Funkalicious is very much driven in that sort of guitar set. So it was really great yesterday to have a rehearsal with keys, to actually have it with piano and vocal, and it gives it a brand new flavour again on top of what it already is. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think it must have a different feel when you use the different instruments with. But now I want to ask you something on a lighter note. What do you do before a performance? How do you get yourself ready? Do you have a little ritual?
I do love breath work and meditation. I'm definitely someone who likes to feel calm before a performance. I like to make sure I've had enough sleep, that I feel really prepared for a gig. People do ask me, like, do you get nervous before you sing? I only ever get nervous if I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. But I never let myself get.
Okay.
I aim to not get myself in that place where I would be, like, nervous in an apprehensive sort of way.
Yeah.
Of course, like adrenaline and that sort of like happy nerves is really good because it makes sure that I am alive, I am feeling this.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
That's probably more excitement
but I
than
will as well.
It's probably more excitement than it's really nerves,
Yes, definitely. I think I'm going to feel super excited when the loop gig happens, because again, it's going to be that first time doing it in front of an audience. But yeah, breath work. I do some vocal warm-ups as well and make sure that I'm hydrated. That's usually my go-to, and have a really cool outfit as well. I think if you have something on that makes you feel really great, I think that can really make all the difference. Like psychologically, you're kind of like putting on your, I don't know, your performance suit, aren't you, in a way? Like, I guess when you're not singing, when you're not performing, I don't know, sometimes you're a bit like slightly a little bit like a different person, like more in a sort of like chilled way, and then I guess when you're performing, you're ready to sass it out and perform.
Do you do changes, your outfits during the performance, or do you stay in one outfit?
Yeah, I have done in the past. Like usually I'll have like an outfit for act one. So if it's in two sets, then I will have an outfit or a hair choice for the first set, and then the second set I'll have something new. That's what I did a couple of years ago. We did Jazz Fest Wien, and I did it with at Porgy and Bess. Did a headline slot with a band called Backward Five, which was really lovely, and I got to bring over, because Stefan from Funkalicious came over from London with me, and we did the whole of our collaboration album as well live, and that was really nice because it had two sets. So I actually did choose to have a different outfit, like different shoes, different hair and stuff, which I think it's nice.
Yeah,
it's nice to have a change up.
Yeah, I think it's always good to dress up and to to have that as part of the whole act.
It's like the whole package. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. But this was so lovely to talk to you, and I'm very impressed with how you do it, and how you do it all so authentically or organically, as you say, and the people involved, and I think it's a wonderful artistic collaboration that you get going there.
Thank you. Yeah, I
really wish you best of luck. Or best success, not luck, success. success.
Thank you.
I think you're talented enough to have just success. But I'm really hoping for you that this album would be, as have be received in such a way that you wrote it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of truth within it.
Mm.
It's totally me 100%, and it had some amazing players on it too. So I'm very, very proud of it and the production that we've made, and that we're just keep going as independents and see where the journey
Yes,
takes us and
fantastic.
see
Yeah.
where it goes. I'm enjoying the journey. It is that you have to remind yourself sometimes as an independent that things take time. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So I know that this record is great, and I'm very proud of it. So it's good to
Yeah.
talk to you about it.
Yeah, I think that's this all these things, the little things that we do, is all a part of the process. And I think if you can be so involved in this whole process, how wonderful is it? That you can have this at the end and say, "This is what we
Yeah,
created," isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
I find it extremely great that it's possible to do that for you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'm very grateful. Very, very grateful.
Anytime when you want to do something or something new to talk about, just let me know. I support you
Okay.
100% with what you're doing. I
Oh,
find it really wonderful.
thank
I
you
love
so
your,
much.
what I've seen on Instagram. I love so much. It's, I think, really. I think you're very talented, and I would absolutely support you in any way I can.
Thank you.
Okay. So have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Thanks, Petra. Bye.
Bye.